morning, everyone. You're listening to Red Pill 78. I am the Corruption Detector, and this is your Red Pill News for Sunday, January 27th. First of all, in an article from the Daily Caller, President Trump wants to know where Hillary Clinton's indictment is after Roger Stone's arrest. President Donald Trump responded Saturday to news of his confidant Roger Stone's Friday indictment with a list of Democrats and justice officials he wants to see in trouble for alleged lying. If Roger Stone was indicted for lying to Congress, what about the lying done by James Comey, John Brennan, James Clapper, Lisa Page and her lover, James Baker, and so many others? What about Hillary Clinton to the FBI and her 33,000 deleted emails? What about Lisa and Peter Strzok's deleted texts and Anthony Weiner's laptop? Much more, Trump wrote Saturday. We're going to get into that much more section in a moment. Stone was indicted Friday morning on 5 counts of lying to Congress, 1 count of witness tampering, and 1 count of obstruction of a government proceeding. Stone appeared on Tucker Carlson Friday evening and said Trump never told him to get in touch with WikiLeaks and claimed the indictment was about silencing him. Trump accused Clinton of lying to the FBI in his Saturday tweet over the tens of thousands of emails deleted from her private server she used while as U.S. Secretary of State. The FBI looked into Clinton's handling of classified information on a private server, and it was a sticking point in the 2016 presidential election. Clinton was interviewed by the FBI as part of the investigation on July 2, 2016, 3 days before then FBI Director James Comey announced he would be recommending that Clinton be charged in the case. Now, I believe that was supposed to say after he announced that she would not be recommended for being charged in the case. The FBI concluded that Clinton had been extremely careless in using a private email server, language that rebuked the former Secretary of State but did not carry legal weight. Ex-FBI Director Comey also mentioned in Trump's Saturday tweet had considered Clinton's handling classified information on her private email account to be grossly negligent, according to a 2016 memo draft, but the language was later softened. Gross negligence is the handling of classified information that can result in jail time. Trump also dredged up the congressional interviews with former FBI employees Page and Strzok, who had central roles in the investigations of the Trump 2016 campaign and special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation. In his tweet, the president has used the pair's apparent anti-Trump bias to characterize the investigations as a witch hunt. Texts between the 2 former FBI employees who were having an affair showed that they said, "We'll stop Trump from getting elected." The FBI failed to preserve 5 months' worth of text messages between Strzok and Page. But not to worry, because we know that the NSA has everything. On to this. Trump had hinted that there was much more. Now, is he just talking about the much more of all of these different people's crimes and the things on Weiner's laptop? Or is he also giving us a hint at what we're talking about with regard to the border wall? Now, this particular post has an embedded post from our favorite Anon, posts 1008 and 1009. Actually, 1009 has 1008 embedded in it, but 1009 is titled "The Wall Means More Than You Know," and 1008 is titled "Mueller Going After Inside Plants and Cheatin' Obama." I am going to call it that Mueller is actually a white hat, and that everything that he's doing is designed to gather intel, gather evidence, and to make the larger case against the people that were going after President Trump. And our Anon states that it was not supposed to be revealed Potus is not under criminal investigation. Not yet. Traitor. There's a traitor. Still a plant. Massive intel sweep. Looking for the plant? Manafort was a plant. Trace his background. Open source. Manafort did a lot of Manafort had a lot of business done with Ukraine and with the same people that were connected to John McCain. Who was arrested? Non-U.S., trace background, open source. Carter Page was a plant, trace background, open source. Why is Mueller going after inside plants? Flynn is safe. Define witness. Can a witness hold a position of power influence while ongoing? No. Russia? Real or fake? Fake? Julian Assange, Seth Rich, MS-13, 187, 24, 2, 24, distance. We talked about the MS-13 members that were killed after the murder of Seth Rich. MS-13, 13 equals M. MSM, the wheel. No investigation into the WikiLeaks receipt of information. No pull down of NSA metadata trace C to WikiLeaks. No pull down of NSA metadata period. Nothing transferred across the web. Direct to direct bypass dump, that would be the thumb drive. No direct investigation into DNC computer software. No direct investigation into CrowdStrike. FBI, Special Counsel, DOJ, Fed, G, simply trust CrowdStrike's report on data breach. Hussein, block. Hussein in control. Hussein, state secrets, White House national security articles 1 through 9, buried. Awan attached. America for sale. Cheatin' Obama, trust the plan, April showers. Now on to the reason the border wall is so important. Troops to border. Clown black ops. Private funds. Raised how? Trafficking and drugs. Troops at border does what? Stops the trafficking the drugs. Impact to who? To the private funds that are funneling these things across the border. D's are involved. This is what I said the other night in my report about the mafia, the Mexican mafia controlling the Democrats. MS-13, illegals, roadblock because of those troops. Sex traffic, roadblock because of those troops. Children, roadblock because of those troops. Drugs, roadblock because of those troops. Guns, roadblock because of those troops. The border wall is about so much, you guys. China-Russia bypass through Intel pull, roadblock. They can't take information that they've stolen across the border anymore. Name we don't say, Arizona, roadblock. Jeff Flake, gone, Arizona, roadblock. Big money, terminate. The water spigot of cash has been shut down. The wall means more than you know. The fight for the wall is so much more. Very, very important. The next time somebody tells you that the wall is about stopping brown people from coming into the United States, make sure that you mention all of these points. Now, again, highlighting commonalities between President Trump's tweets and our Anon's posts. President Trump quotes Matt Schlapp, and he says, "I like the fact that the president is making the case on border security and crime to the American people. Now we know where Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and the Democrats stand, which is no border security. Will be big 2020 issue, and it will." President Trump says, bigger than anyone knows. That's right, because this information will come out prior to 2020. It has to come out so that Trump's base, the rest of his base who is not tuned into this stuff yet, understands exactly why it is so big. Now, the Anon posted here in post 1072 back in April, bigger than you can imagine. Back in February, bigger than anyone can imagine. In 2 more posts, bigger than anyone can possibly imagine. Bigger than anyone can imagine. Not just talking about the number of people that are involved, but the reasons for why the wall is so important. Now, in an article from the Big League Politics, Intel sources show that Roger Stone indictment shows evidence of FBI hack of Trump campaign. Oh, Roger Stone's great. I know a lot of people don't like him, but I think Roger Stone is a real character. A former member of the foreign U.S. counterintelligence community explains how the Roger Stone indictment demonstrates evidence of FBI surveillance of the Trump campaign, which could prove illegal evidence gathering procedures in the Stone case. Explained. The indictment of Roger Stone may help explain the insurance policy that Peter Strzok was talking to Lisa Page about in August of 2016. In the indictment on page 17, section 35, titled Stone's False and Misleading Testimony About Communications with the Trump Campaign, there is a very curious admission. It talks about insider knowledge of numerous communications in the Trump campaign. In Truth and Fact, and as described above, Stone spoke to multiple individuals involved in the Trump campaign. And on multiple occasions, Stone told Trump senior campaign officials. Now this is important because it highlights the question, did the FBI or the clowns use Stephen Halper or Joseph Mifsud to hack the Trump campaign's emails? Stephen Halper, who is widely reported by most news organizations as a spy source for the clowns and FBI, emailed Carter Page, George Papadopoulos, and Sam Clovis of the Trump campaign. Sam Clovis even reported to Tucker Carlson in May of 2018 that he received emails from Stephen Halper with attachments in 2016. The indictment of Papadopoulos references numerous communications with the professor. Joseph Mifsud has been reported as the professor and as a possible British spy. Did these email communications have spy software attached, and did Peter Strzok's August 1st, 2016 trip to London involve him passing anything to Halper? I think the answer on those questions is an emphatic yes. Now, this is a post from the board in relation to the Rothschild sale of their Austrian property last year. He says, news unlocks the map. Rothschilds sold last Austria enclave. Theory. This news event signaled to the world via news that our Annan and Trump just took down the Rothschilds. Second pyramid gone. Why would fake news be the very first strategy of POTUS? Because it will mean it is the last side of the pyramid. The light of truth is a straight line. Last side of the pyramid. Hello, George Soros shillbots. Lots of those on my stream last night. Enough of this, and military will permit public dissemination of the truth of what Trump and our Annan and the military just did without leaks. What did you think was happening during the shutdown? Movie time. The Patriots sent to the criminals. Play these roles and you will not be tried in military court for treason, which is punishable by... What happened to Scalia? They all knew. What just happened? 35 days of military court, which became legal by executive order January 2019. Shut down government, 35 days. Announce reopening of government for 3 weeks. For the military to carry out the executions. 8,000 caravan, i.e. Soros army, coming for us as reaction to Rothschilds going down. Soros. Fake news will eventually fall on its own. No more protection, no more backing. All at the mercy of a digital army of truth warriors, which is us. 3 weeks and then it's off to the races, meaning nothing holding the world back from truth and prosperity and final destruction of a satanic family cult of criminal human breeders, traffickers, and killers. Evil executed. Here it comes, folks. Trump can build the wall and no globalist will be able to stop it. Then their cash cows of weapons trafficking, harmful drug trafficking, and human trafficking control over the nation. Folks, the way they maintained control over the currency was to ensure there is always a demand for them, so they devised the most sick and depraved market to spread their fake currency. Blackmail was used against our elected officials. Clowns was their way to ensure the more enterprising but nonetheless good, moral, happy people never threatened their ability to continue the weapons, drugs, and human trafficking demand for U.S. currency. Fed was their local op. Don't worry, folks. It's over. It's done. Truth just needs time to spread worldwide without censorship, and the world will be a different place of incredible opportunity, happiness, and joy that none of us even thought was possible because of how many generations back they started harvesting the American population. The harvest was to keep humans sick on their medicine, destroy their spines, their humanity, to turn them into good socialist men that these sick Fs put into the education system. They also controlled as if apocalyptic dreamlands were more real than reality itself was. Satanism, gone. Finally. People 3 weeks for the executions, then they tell the world the truth, and fake news can't do S because their masters are gone. Gee, how did that journalist end up at the House? The Anon controls the leaks to the MSM now. It was a test. Test completed. CNN doesn't know who to take orders from anymore. Masters gone. What do they do now? They become irrelevant in a matter of short time. BuzzFeed fires, dumpster fires at BuzzFeed, or removal of their agents. Fake book 50% fake accounts from documented court filings have been publicized. 50% bots to make it seem like the crazy effing liberal insanity was the other half instead of a tiny minority. But see how many just talked the words they saw on the media? Just words they wanted people to say. Only these words, not these words. Then the words changed. Satanism in practice. Symbology manipulation. Social conditioning. Pure evil. Now, obviously, this is just a theory, but I find this theory very exciting, so I had to share it with you guys. Now, in another article from the Daily Caller, Black Americans explain why they walked away from the Democratic Party. I've been wanting to cover this for a while now, guys, since this video came out, but I didn't want to just share their video. So now that it's been broken up into a segment from the Daily Caller, I can go ahead and play you a section of it, and hopefully you guys will enjoy. Brandon Straka, the openly gay former Democrat behind the recent movement to walk away from liberalism, sat down with a Daily Caller to discuss his new documonial called The Great Awakening. The documonial features 20 black Americans who explain what made them decide to walk away from the Democratic Party. It really tells the story of black America by black America. It's them telling their own stories in their own voices, said Straka. Okay, so let's take a listen.
What did Barack Obama do for Chicago? Nothing.
There ain't nothing improving in the minority community.
They don't seem to have a care of actually lifting minorities or anyone out of poverty.
Amen.
Joining me now is Brandon Straka. He is the founder of the Walkaway Movement. Brandon, thank you so much for being here. Brandon, I wanted to talk about your new film. It's a documonial. So tell us about that.
Well done on the pronunciation, by the way. I know it's a mouthful for a lot. It's a new term we just invented. We've coined the phrase documonial. And so what this means, for that people might be asking, it's a testimonial documentary. There's a gentleman in the Walkaway campaign. His name is Mike Boss. He's a Hollywood filmmaker, and he's very passionate about the campaign. And he came to me and he said, look, I've created something. I would love for you to take a look at it. And I watched it, and it blew my mind. What he's done essentially is taken the testimonials, walkaway testimonials of 20 black Americans and created a 35-minute short film, which really tells the story, I say, of black America by black America. It's them telling their own story in their own voices. And
all right, that's all we're going to listen to right here, but I highly suggest you guys go watch this video. It is incredibly powerful. For anyone who was ever brainwashed by the liberal media, the left, the Hollywood elite, you will feel something when you watch this. It is so powerful. Now next, another post from the board that I found under Notables. I'm sure you guys remember Chris Burrous, the anchor from KTLA, that was found dead in a hotel room. He had a wife and child at home, and his death was called in by a mystery man. Well, this is from January 20th. After 3 weeks after his death, still no one has said why KTLA anchor Chris Burrous overdosed at a suburban Days Inn. Now, we'll read the article in just a moment, but it also links up to this post from Crazy Days and Nights yesterday, and it's a blind item revealed. They said, I doubt the coroner will ever make public is how all the drugs were administered to this deceased news anchor. It was not orally or intravenously or via nasal passage. And that's talking about Chris Burrous, and that's from NT Lawyer. Now, I just want to state for the obvious, I'm going to let you guys figure it out, but there's only one other way. If it wasn't orally, if it wasn't intravenously, and it wasn't nasally, there's only one other entrance for drugs into a human body. It's a very strange way to get it, but I don't know. I'm kind of at a loss for words about this, but I think the whole thing is fishy, and we're going to read this article here about it, and then we'll actually see a little bit from Chris's funeral. So, December 28th, it wasn't that long ago, 3 weeks. Yet in that time, no one from Los Angeles or from KTLA has answered this question. Why was anchor Chris Burrous at a suburban Days Inn at 1 o'clock in the afternoon? Why did he overdose, and from what? What caused his death? The 43-year-old anchorman, so popular in Los Angeles, remains a mystery, and so does his tragic death. Married with a young daughter, Burrous was the embodiment of a public celebrity. Peppy, avuncular, full of life. One thing we know is that he loved to eat. His Burrous Bites segments were a highlight of the station and of his career. But on December 28th, a still unknown man, known actually to the Glendale Police Department, called in Burrows' overdose. No police report is available from the incident and won't be available until after the autopsy is released. Even then, we may not know what happened. And LA media quickly covered up whatever they knew about Burrous. Did he have a secret life? Was there another side to Burrous the public was unaware of? In meantime, Burrous' family has raised $135,000 in 2 separate GoFundMe campaigns. Even that begs questions no one in Los Angeles asked. Didn't he have savings? A pension, life insurance? GoFundMe is usually used to raise money for people who've survived natural disasters or don't have insurance or are destitute. Wasn't Burrous earning a decent wage at KTLA? We also know that GoFundMe was used by many clown operations. Below is a video from Burrous' funeral, which was held without much fanfare. Sadly, it was on his 44th birthday. Oh, that's so sad.
A sad day for us here at KTLA. We joined family and loved ones for a final farewell to our friend and colleague Chris Burrous. An emotional service was held at the Sky Rose Chapel at Rose Hills in Whittier. KTLA's Alina Abovian was there. A sad day for us here at KTLA. We joined family and loved ones for a final farewell to our friend and colleague Chris Burrous. An emotional service was held at the Sky Rose Chapel at Rose Hills in Whittier. KTLA's Alina Abovian was there.
We gather in sadness at the death of our brother.
It's a final farewell to KTLA's beloved Chris Burrous.
Today would have been Chris's 44th birthday.
We're gonna need another bottle.
I want you to know that the Chris Burrous you all loved so much was exactly the Chris Burrous that I knew for the past 20 years. He was lightning in a bottle.
How you doing?
Let's see how the writing is next hour.
On air or off, out and about on the fire line or cutting in at the buffet line. He was really exactly that silly, whip smart, funny, the most thoughtful person I'd ever met.
Born January 11, 1975, Chris was the son of a Central Valley farmer and NASA engineer.
Chris, we love you, and we'll always miss you. From your mom and dad, love you.
As a reporter and an anchor, Chris spent part of his career in several smaller markets, then a stint in New York. In 2011, he joined the KTLA morning show.
Maybe I need to be more energetic. Sir, did you happen to feel the earthquake this morning? Yes.
Yeah, there we go.
I think that's working a lot better.
Immediately, he broke through. And he connected with all of us, and he connected with the people who watched the shows.
And I think that was your dad's gift. He could take just this tiny, tiny little story and make it so interesting for all of us.
On December 27, the life of this one-of-a-kind talent was tragically cut short. He was 43 years old. Chris Burrous, husband, father, and son.
But in my heart, he's still there and alive, and I hope he is to all of you too.
I could have never fathomed the enormity of your affection for him. So thank you all for helping to keep Chris alive in your hearts and in your memories.
In Whittier, Alina Abovian, KTLA 5 News.
Just a tragic, tragic story. But it begs the question, did he have a secret life or was he murdered? Finally, in one more article from the Daily Caller, college kids blame Trump for the shutdown, but are totally surprised by the offers he's already put on the table. George Mason University students blamed President Donald Trump for the government shutdown in a campus reform video released Friday. Many called for Trump to compromise with the Democrats to end the 5-week shutdown, but were surprised when they learned he already made offers and it was turned down by House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Trump's proposal included deferred action for childhood arrivals with protections for children brought into the U.S. by illegal immigrants, 2,750 new border agents and law enforcement professionals, and $800 million in urgent humanitarian aid in exchange for $5.7 billion for the border wall. They should allow some funding for the wall for now if Trump were to agree to some of the Democrats' terms as well, one student said to Campus Reform. Many students were shocked when they learned Trump had already made the proposals that would appeal to Democrats. I'm pleasantly surprised he offered those things, one student said. I'm obviously behind it, another student at the Virginia school said. Last time I checked, it said 31-day shutdown. One student added that Pelosi should have an open mind. Let's take a listen.
What's your thought on who's to blame for the shutdown?
The president.
I think specifically Trump. Since this has been the longest government shutdown, he is mainly responsible.
Personally, Trump.
I would definitely say Trump.
I would say mostly on Trump.
Maybe get the government working again, that would be good.
I would say Trump is to blame.
Okay.
Yeah, Trump is probably to blame.
If President Trump were to make some of the concessions that Democrats have been asking for, like protection for DACA dreamers, $800 million for humanitarian aid, extra funding for judges to get some of the immigration cases moving. If you were to offer those three things, do you think the Democrats should consider compromising on their end?
Yes, they should.
What do you think?
Yeah, I would agree. I think that they should compromise.
I think that would be a good start.
They should allow some funding for the wall for now if Trump were to agree to some of their terms as well.
Getting the government working and getting those protections for like dreamers, that's obviously super important. And if like conceding like a small portion of that of something that's probably not going to be done, it's like kind of a bittersweet kind of.
Did you know President Trump actually has offered that already?
Really? No, I didn't know.
Yeah. Are you surprised by that?
Yeah, yeah.
And what are your thoughts on that?
I don't know.
So, are you surprised by him offering those compromises?
I would say yeah. I would say it is pretty surprising.
Okay, that's awesome then. You know, I'm obviously behind a little. Last time I checked, it just said 31 days shutdown.
I'm pleasantly surprised that he's offered those things for sure.
Do you think the Democrats should have taken the compromise President Trump offered?
I do think so.
And again, this is about seeding the public consciousness. We have shown through this shutdown that the Democrats do not care. These kids, they have no idea. President Trump is a man you can work with. President Trump has already offered them everything they want. For the government shutdown to not be completely over, now that we've opened it up for a short time, 3 weeks, if it doesn't happen, it's on the Democrats. And people are starting to realize. Well, that's all I have for you today. I want to thank you everyone for joining me. Once again, I am Red Pill 78, the corruption detector. If you'd like to help out, you can do that by checking out the information in the description below. Don't forget to check out for the links for these articles. And everyone, I hope you're having a wonderful Sunday. Good luck and God bless.